Well, good morning, everyone. How are you this morning? I am making a few things I actually made a couple weeks ago because what we're kind of having leftovers. So I have some pork roast right here. I have some sweet potatoes I've already baked and cut into pieces. I'm putting in this right here. And we're having leftover pork roast that I've had in the freezer. And pork roast, rice, and gravy. And the pork roast and the gravy, that's already made. Oh, I love that. Love it, it's already made. And it's just so good with sweet potatoes, I can't resist making them again. So I have some sweet potatoes, and I'm going to add some brown sugar, which I just opened that over here. So I'm going to also add a little butter. Now the recipe calls for a lot of butter, and I don't put I'm not putting that much butter in because it gets to be so much butter. It's really good, and I have not noticed if I leave some of it out. So that's only like about a tablespoon and a half, and this is only 4 sweet potatoes. So it's not a whole lot. But I have noticed that if I put less butter in there, I can't even tell. So I'm like, well, let's just save a few calories here and put less butter. Because I can't really tell the difference. It just doesn't have as much grease in it, which I think is perfectly fine. So then I'm going to put in some, this is light brown sugar. And this light brown sugar is kind of hard as a rock here. There we go. Get it softened up. And this is another one that I have been like putting a little less in there just so it's still really good. It's not as many calories. So for this amount, let's try probably, this is a 1/3 cup size, but I'll probably put a couple thirds in here. Maybe I'll put a cup. It actually takes more brown sugar than you think it does to really sweeten it. And then I'm going to bake this uncovered so it will kind of caramelize. I'm going to bake this in the oven. Let's see. It says at 375 for like 30 to 45 minutes. Oops, and I just dropped that on the floor. I said, oh, this brown sugar. I'll just take some out of the bag and put it in there. It's been in the bag. It hasn't even been opened, but it's like really gotten hard in there. And there we go. Okay, so I just like to give it a good coating on top. Well, there's a lot on top. And then that will work right there. Put that in the oven. Put this in the sink. And let me put the rest of this. I have one of these things right here. It's supposed to help soften brown sugar. So I'm going to put this brown sugar in my container. See if I can't get that. Let's see if this little thing makes it softer. It's supposed to. It's supposed to keep it soft. But this isn't starting off soft. Starting off packed in this bag. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and put that in there, and we'll put this in here with it. Let's see if it makes it softer, or if it just keeps it from getting harder. That'll probably be a few days then, before we'll know. Alright, put it in the container. Alright, so I'm going to just put this right in the oven. I already have my rice baking. Let's set, I'll just leave that in there. I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to go ahead and make some more cobbler. And making more cobbler because I have some peaches that have some spots on them that I need to go ahead and cut up these peaches. Whoops, I did not want that to go in there. Alright, let's get this little bag. I'm going to peel these peaches. Now, last time I used frozen peaches, and I added some frozen blueberries, and the frozen blueberries were good. I wasn't that crazy about the frozen peaches. They were a little tough or something. I don't know what. They weren't as sweet. They just weren't as good. I don't know why, but they were not as good. Oh, this peach looks so good. This one looks good. Oops. Take a bite. Mmm. Right. Look up. See, like this whole top of this one's bad. I'll just cut all that off. Get rid of the seed. Peel this one. And I've got to have 2 cups of fruit, which is double what the recipe says because I like more fruit than what it says. There we go. So I'm going to cut this up. Let's see how many peaches I actually have. I already washed these. This one has a bad spot on top too. I don't know what it is, the deal about this tops of these peaches. That's okay, we'll just use the bottom half. Definitely need to get using some of these here. So I'm gonna make another little cobbler, and this should be, I think it's gonna be better than the other one. Let's take that seed out. Cut off some more of this top here. There we go. Taste test that one. Yummy. Let's get rid of the soft spot. Okay, I'll cut that up in here. I love peaches. Especially, oh, that was so slippery. Slipped right out of my hand. Oh, I can't pick it up. Why are you so slippery? Peach. There. Let me wash it off. Oh. Why this one? I can't pick it up. There we go. It's escaping. Could I have another one over here? Has the same little issue. All the tops of my peaches are going bad. Crazy. I'm just cutting it all the peel and stuff into this bag. Let's see if we can't get rid of all this here. I don't know about this peach. This one may not have any good in it. No, I don't think so. I think that one's a goner. Nope, we're not going to use that one. But we have this one. So we shall. This one's good. We're going to use this one. Cut that up into here. These peaches, I love these, that the seed pulls away so easy. Let's see how much fruit we're going to end up with once I get these cut. I think we're going to be a little short, so I do have some more blueberries, which I expected that. I thought it would be short. So we will top it off with the blueberries again. Yep, we're going to do that. And this peach blueberry is really good. Okay, give me my little blueberries over here. I take all that peach, the peach stuff, the peach peeling and all that. So I'm not going to take my trash out right away. I just take it and put it in the freezer. And then it doesn't like spoil and smell bad. And then when you're ready to take out your trash, you just take that bag out of the freezer. I actually learned that little trick from my former husband's grandmother. She used to take all the cuttings off of anything. Packages meat came in and all that, she would just keep them in the little bag in the freezer so it never spoiled, and then she would throw it away when she took out the trash. That was pretty smart, because you never get anything that smelled bad. I'm looking for my strainer because I want to strain the blueberries, and I'm making all kind of racket because I didn't get that out before. Okay, here we go. Because these blueberries have a lot of water in them, and I don't want that extra water. These are frozen blueberries. I'm actually going to take this over to the sink to do it so I don't drip it. Now you can make this, of course, with fresh blueberries too. I just bought them frozen. Alright, this looks like exactly the right amount of fruit for me here. 2 cups. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put that in here. I'm going to like this better made with fresh peaches, though. I'm wondering if I just needed to have cooked it longer with the frozen ones last time. I just didn't like the texture of them as well. Maybe fresh are just better. I don't know. Alright, so I've got my rice over here cooking. We got 9 minutes left on the rice. Got my oven, other stuff in the oven. Okay, so now I'm going to take... Alright, let's look at my ingredients here. I think I need a cup of sugar. Is that right? No, I need a half a cup of sugar in each thing. Alright, so let's get that. That's my half a cup. So I will need a total of 1 cup of sugar, and I'm going to put half of it on that. Yes, okay, so we're going to put half a cup of sugar in here with this fruit. Now that will also make it... Actually, I'm not going to do it immediately. I'm going to get it ready. Well, I have to make the batter, which takes half a cup of sugar. There we go. And then I'm going to get the other half a cup of sugar for the fruit. Because I don't want it to make a lot of juice. Because honestly, if you make too much juice, the dough part doesn't get... it stays just too wet. Okay, so let's do a half a cup of flour. Okay, there's a 1/4 cup. So it's the same amount of flour and sugar in this one, which really makes it good. Then we're going to have 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. The other thing I want to get is I need half a stick of butter to melt in the pan here. Oh, that's exactly the right amount. Look at there, I love when that happens. Half a stick of butter. So I'm going to stick this in the microwave. Melt this in my baking dish. And I'm only making half a cobbler. So normally this would fill up a 9 by 13 pan, but I'm only making half the recipe. Just so we don't have too much temptation left over for the week. Trying to reduce calories. Okay. Alright, let me get my whisk here. Somewhere I have a whisk. Oh, here was a strainer too. I don't know where my other whisk is. Just use this one. Okay, so we're going to have... I'm going to stir that up and we're going to put in the... See if that melted. Nope, let's do it again. Nope, I don't need that. Where did I put my measuring spoon? There we go. Alright, 3/4 cup of baking powder. So 3/4 of a teaspoon, not cup. So here's half a teaspoon. And then 1/4 of a teaspoon. Alright, there's baking powder. That's that one. So I have the flour and the sugar, and then you're going to add some milk, and that's your batter. Okay, the butter is pretty melty here. I have a couple of pieces that still need to melt, but I think that should keep on melting. Alright, let's stir this together. And then we're going to need, it's for the full recipe, it's 3/4 of a cup of milk, but I'm only doing half, so it's going to be 3/8 of a cup, which is 6 tablespoons is what that is. 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of milk. So I'm going to get out my milk. Let's do... That's 2 tablespoons. So that's 1/8. That's 2 tablespoons is 1/8 a cup. 2/8. 3/8. So that's 6 tablespoons of milk in this. Otherwise you do 3/4 of a cup for the double recipe. Alright, so let's stir that together. Then we have our batter, which is like pretty much it. So simple and quick. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so there we go. It looks good if you know what it's going to turn out to be. So let me take my scraper here. So then when you have all this together, let me go ahead and put the rest of the sugar on the fruit and stir that around. I like to get the fruit coated with the sugar because it tastes better. Okay, so then, because the recipe actually tells you to sprinkle it on top after you put the fruit in here, and then just sprinkle the sugar on top. And I don't find that works as well. I think it works better if you actually mix it into the fruit. Okay, so then we have, this is half a stick of butter for this size, an 8x8 pan. So I have the baking powder, sugar, flour, milk, and then we're going to pour the batter in first, and then we're going to put the fruit on top. And I always, when I do this batter, I don't put it really in the corners, because if you put it in the corners, it like poofs out a lot in the corner, and you have like more batter in the corners than anywhere. So I kind of just put it in the middle, and it will get over there to the corners. It just won't be too much this way. Okay, so then all I'm going to do is take the fruit and that sugar and dump it on top here. And it will all bake in there. It'll be so good. All right, so now you're going to bake this at 325 for 45 minutes. Okay, so let me get all the sugar off the spoon and out of the bowl. Now, if you let that sit in the sugar, it will make your fruit a lot runnier. And I don't, like I said, that makes your batter, it doesn't work as well. Your batter will be too runny. It's better if your fruit isn't real liquidy, because you don't need that with the batter. Okay, so there we go. We're going to put that in the oven. We have 2 minutes to go for the rice to be done. Okay, so that is in there at 325. I've already got the sweet potatoes in there. And then we need about 45 minutes. That was so easy. That's like the easiest dessert ever. Let me go ahead and let that 2 minutes go by and check my rice. And all of the other stuff, the roast pork that was cooked in a crock pot is done. I actually made that a couple weeks ago and froze the leftovers. 1 more minute to go. I always check my rice to make sure it's actually done, because you know sometimes rice doesn't get done. Always make sure it is actually done. Oh, I forgot to do this with the sweet potatoes. I normally dribble water over it. Totally forgot. Look at that. Well, let's pull these sweet potatoes back out real quick. Yeah, because it's not doing right. It's going to just burn this. Let me pour the water over this. I usually just drizzle water on it so it dissolves the sugar. Otherwise, the sugar like never wants to blend in. Okay, so this gets the sugar to kind of melt and become a sauce. All right, there we did it. And there's our minute. Let me reset this for 45 minutes for the cobbler. And that was my other timer. That I thought I would reset my oven one for this other stuff, and so I set that one on the microwave too. But it ended up being done, so. Okay, let's turn off the rice. Here's our rice. So for rice, you want double the amount of water of rice. So like if you use 2 cups of water, you want 1 cup of rice. Perfect. And then you want 1 teaspoon of salt per cup of rice. But it will not be salty, you know. And then you bring your water to a boil. You add the cup of, whatever you're making. You add the rice. Turn it down to low. Put on your lid. Set your timer for 20 minutes. Do not lift the lid. That's the vital part of rice. Do not lift the lid. If you lift the lid, you let out the steam, and the rice will no longer cook right, because rice is actually steaming. So if you let out the steam, you have totally ruined your cooking time. So once you put rice in the pan and put on the lid, you should never lift the lid. Just time it for 20 minutes and keep it on low, and you get perfect rice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go. Hi, how are you doing? It's 1:20 a.m. Well, here it is. What is it? It was 11:20. It's also a.m. here. It was 11:20. So I'm going to go do my makeup real quick and let all this stuff bake. So I'm going to turn off this live and start another one in about 5 or 10 minutes. And if you're still awake, I will see you again. Bye.